The annual Martinez family dinner was as predictable as always. Aunt Elena's passive-aggressive comments about my single status, Uncle Roberto's lectures about real business, and my cousin Miguel's smug updates about his chain of generic Mexican restaurants. What wasn't predictable was me being invited at all. 3 years of silence after I quit my corporate job to start a food truck, and suddenly I'm back at the family table. The crystal glasses and fine china at La Casa Martinez, my uncle's flagship restaurant, felt like props in a play where I was clearly meant to be the cautionary tale. So Anna, Miguel leaned back in his chair, swirling his expensive wine, still serving tacos from that truck? What do you call it again? Something cute and cultural? La Cocina Rodante, I replied, taking a sip of water. The rolling kitchen. Ah yes, how quaint. He shared a knowing look with Uncle Roberto. You know, we're opening our 15th location next month. Real restaurants with real seats. I caught my mother's eye across the table. She'd been the only one who supported me when I cashed out my 401k to buy that food truck. The only one who understood why her Stanford MBA daughter would choose street food over stock options. How nice, I smiled, cutting into my overcooked chili relleno. Still using Uncle's recipes from the 80s? Miguel's smile tightened. Traditional recipes. Time-tested. Not everyone needs to reinvent the wheel. Speaking of tradition, Aunt Elena interjected, your cousin Carmen just got engaged to that wonderful restaurant supplier. You remember him, don't you, Anna? He always asked about you. A commotion near the entrance interrupted her matchmaking attempt. The maitre d' was arguing with someone, his voice carrying across the dining room. I'm sorry, sir, but you can't just. It's urgent, a familiar voice replied. She needs to sign these immediately. I turned just as James Chin, celebrity chef and current star of Kitchen Masters, strode into the dining room. He was still wearing his signature black chef's coat, a leather portfolio tucked under his arm. Ms. Martinez, he said, heading straight for our table. I apologize for interrupting your dinner, but the quarterly reports need your approval before the Asian markets open. The sound of forks clattering against fine china echoed through the suddenly silent restaurant. Reports. Uncle Roberto's voice cracked slightly. Yes, James said, spreading documents across the white tablecloth. The acquisition of the Singapore group is complete, but Tokyo's numbers need your review. And Chef Matsuda is insisting on speaking with you directly about the Michelin collaboration. Miguel's wine glass froze halfway to his mouth. Michelin collaboration? I picked up the first document, hiding my smile behind it. How's the integration of Chin Global going? Smooth, thanks to your infrastructure model. Though some of the old guard are still adjusting to having you as CO. CO. Aunt Elena whispered. I signed the papers quickly, then handed them back to James. Tell Chef Matsuda I'll video call him tomorrow. And please congratulate him on his 3rd star. Of course, Ms. Martinez. Or should I say, boss. James gave a slight bow and retreated, leaving behind a stunned silence and the faint scent of high-end cologne. Uncle Roberto cleared his throat. Anna, what exactly is going on? I dabbed my lips with the linen napkin, taking my time. Remember when you said my food truck was a waste of my business degree? The silence at the table was thick enough to cut with one of Uncle Roberto's overpriced steak knives. My mother was beaming, while Miguel had gone from smug to sickly pale in record time. Let me explain, I said, pulling out my phone and bringing up an article from Forbes. That cute food truck? It caught James Chen's attention 2 years ago. He was filming an episode of Kitchen Masters nearby and followed the crowd to my truck. Turned out he loved my fusion tacos so much he featured them on his show. I remember that episode, Miguel stammered. The one about street food innovation. But they never showed the owner's face. Because I was already in acquisition talks with his restaurant group, I finished. Didn't want to complicate the negotiations. Uncle Roberto's face had turned an interesting shade of purple. You bought Chin Global Restaurants? That's impossible. They're worth $4.2 billion as of this morning's market open, I supplied. Though that's before counting the new Tokyo properties. Aunt Elena gripped her pearl necklace. But how? I pulled up another document on my phone. Remember my silly algorithm for predicting food trends? The one you all laughed at during Christmas dinner 3 years ago. I turned the screen toward them, showing the patent office confirmation. Turns out major restaurant groups will pay a lot for accurate market prediction software. Especially when it's combined with a mobile ordering system that cuts labor costs by 40%. The app, my mother said proudly. The one you developed in the food truck between lunch rushes. The very same, I nodded. We rolled it out to Chin Global's properties first, then licensed it to other restaurant groups. The revenue let me start buying up struggling high-end restaurants during the pandemic. Miguel's hand shook as he reached for his wine. Those acquisitions, the mystery buyer everyone was talking about, that was you? La Casina Holdings, I confirmed. Now the parent company of 53 Michelin-starred restaurants worldwide, plus a certain food truck that still serves the best fusion tacos in Los Angeles. The maitre d' appeared at my elbow looking nervous. Ms. Martinez? Chef Morita from Tokyo is on the line. Something about the sake pairing menu for next month's opening. I stood up, smoothing my simple black dress. Thank you, I'll take it in the office. Oh wait. I turned to Uncle Roberto. I suppose it's not your office anymore, is it? What? He croaked. I gestured around the dining room of La Casa Martinez. Didn't Miguel tell you? When he approached Chin Global for a bailout last month, he was actually negotiating with me. I now own controlling interest in Martinez Restaurant Group too. The sound of Miguel's wine glass hitting the floor punctuated my statement perfectly. You sold us. Uncle Roberto turned to his son in disbelief. To Anna. I didn't know. Miguel protested. The offer came through intermediaries. The papers all said Chin Global. Which is now part of La Casina Holdings, I finished. Don't worry. I'm not planning to change much here. Though. I sampled the chili relleno again. We might need to update some recipes from the 80s. This is outrageous. Uncle Roberto finally exploded, his carefully maintained businessman facade cracking. You can't just walk in here and... Actually, I can, I interrupted, pulling out another document from my purse. This is the latest health inspection report for your flagship location. 17 violations, Tio. The old Martinez name isn't what it used to be. Aunt Elena was frantically typing on her phone, probably looking up news about the acquisitions. Oh Dios mío. She's on the cover of Restaurant Business Monthly. Last month's issue, I confirmed. Though I think this month they're more interested in our expansion into European markets. The maitre d' appeared again, even more nervous than before. Ms. Martinez? The kitchen staff is asking about the new training program. Tell them the AI-powered cooking stations will be installed next week, I said. And yes, everyone gets to keep their jobs, with a raise and better benefits. A visible wave of relief passed through the nearby servers who'd been pretending not to eavesdrop. AI-powered cooking stations? Miguel's voice was barely a whisper now. I pulled up a demonstration video on my phone. Standardized temperature control, perfect timing, real-time inventory management. The same technology that made my food truck so efficient, scaled up for full-service restaurants. That's why your lines were always so long, my mother said proudly. Even with just you and Luis running the truck, you never got orders wrong. Luis. Aunt Elena frowned. The dishwasher's son? My chief technology officer now, I corrected her. He's the one who helped me code the first version of the management system. Just finished his computer science degree on the scholarship our foundation provided. Uncle Roberto slumped in his chair. The Martinez restaurant legacy will be stronger than ever, I assured him. But modernized, efficient, and actually profitable. I checked my watch, a subtle Cartier that probably cost more than Miguel's last Porsche. Now about those quarterly reports. Wait, Miguel suddenly straightened. If you own the restaurant group now, what happens to my position? I smiled, remembering all the times he'd mocked my little taco truck experiment. Well, cousin, that depends. How's your coding? Why, what? Your coding skills. All management positions in La Casina Holdings require basic programming knowledge now. Can't have executives who don't understand our core technology, right? The look on his face was priceless. But don't worry, I continued, standing up. We offer excellent training programs. You can start with the same intro to coding course we give our line cooks. Though they might be a bit ahead of you, they've been using the AI systems for months now. My phone buzzed again. Tokyo was still waiting. If you'll excuse me, I need to take this call. Oh, and tia Elena? I turned to my aunt who was still gripping her pearls. About that restaurant supplier you mentioned? Tell Carmen congratulations, but she should know we'll be switching to our own supply chain management system next quarter. Automated ordering, AI predicted inventory needs. Very efficient. Not much room for traditional suppliers anymore. As I walked toward the office, my office now, I heard my mother say softly, maybe now you'll all understand why she chose that food truck over your real restaurants. The sound of Miguel's second wine glass hitting the floor followed me down the hallway. The next hour transformed La Casa Martinez into something between a family therapy session and a corporate takeover meeting. In the office, now stripped of Uncle Roberto's hunting trophies and replaced with sleek monitors showing real-time data from restaurants across 3 continents, I handled the Tokyo call while watching my family process their new reality through the glass walls. Ms. Martinez, Chef Morita's holographic image bowed slightly. The sake menu is just one concern. Our AI system is suggesting a 23% price increase for the omakase experience, but this conflicts with traditional pricing structures. The AI has been right about pricing 94% of the time, I reminded him. Remember Hong Kong? He nodded grudgingly. The system had predicted a luxury dining boom in specific Hong Kong districts 3 months before it happened, letting us position new restaurants perfectly. Trust the data, chef. But keep your artistic freedom for the menu itself. That's our balance, traditional expertise enhanced by technology, not replaced by it. After finishing the call, I returned to the dining room to find my family huddled around Aunt Elena's iPad, reading news articles about La Casina Holdings' meteoric rise. Revolutionary restaurant management system, Miguel read aloud, his voice hollow. Combines traditional cuisine with cutting-edge technology. There's even a case study about you at Stanford Business School now. The same program you said I was wasting, I noted sitting back down. Funny how things work out. Uncle Roberto had aged 10 years in the past hour. But why keep it secret? Why let us think you were still just running a food truck? Because you needed to learn something, I said, signaling a server for coffee. All of you did. About respect. About innovation. About judging people by their cover. The food truck was your cover, my mother realized, while you were building an empire. It was more than that, I corrected her. It was my lab. Every new technology we developed, every algorithm we refined, it was tested on that truck first. Do you know we can predict with 97% accuracy what each customer will order before they reach the window? That's impossible, Miguel scoffed, some of his old arrogance surfacing. I pulled out my phone again, opening the La Casina app. See that couple by the window? Based on their previous orders, time of day, weather, and 50 other data points, our system says they'll order the Chilean sea bass and the Wagyu ribeye. Watch. Sure enough, moments later, those exact orders were punched into the system. We're not just selling food, I explained. We're selling an experience enhanced by data. Every preference remembered, every allergy noted, every special occasion anticipated. That's why our customer retention rate is triple the industry standard. And that's worth billions? Aunt Elena asked weakly. The technology alone is worth billions. The restaurants are just the perfect way to showcase it. I took a sip of the perfectly prepared coffee. The AI had remembered my preference for oat milk. But you know what's worth even more? They looked at me expectantly. Second chances. I pulled out a folder. My real reason for accepting this dinner invitation. This is my proposal for restructuring Martinez Restaurant Group. Yes, we're modernizing everything, but I'm offering all of you positions in the new organization. If you're willing to learn. Uncle Roberto opened the folder with trembling hands. His eyes widened at the salary figures. These are contingent on completing our technical training program, I added. Even you, Tio. Especially you. Your experience in traditional restaurant management is valuable, but it needs to evolve. And if we refuse? Miguel asked quietly. Then you keep your shares as silent partners and watch from the sidelines as we revolutionize the industry. I shrugged. Your choice. The dining room had started to fill up with the evening crowd. Through the windows I could see my food truck parked proudly in the front spot. My insistence on keeping it there had been a non-negotiable part of the acquisition. I don't understand, Aunt Elena said finally. If you had all this success, why keep running that truck yourself? Why serve tacos when you own Michelin-starred restaurants? I smiled, remembering the night everything changed. Because 3 years ago a young woman walked up to my truck, tears in her eyes. She'd just been rejected from cooking school, told she didn't have the right background for fine dining. Know where she is now? They shook their heads. She's running our Paris location. 3 Michelin stars last month. I stood up again, straightening my jacket. That truck isn't just a food truck. It's a reminder that every great success story starts somewhere small. Something this family seems to have forgotten. My phone buzzed. Singapore was calling now. The empire never slept. Think about the offer, I said. But don't take too long. The future moves fast in my world. As I headed back to the office, I heard Miguel ask my mother softly, "Did you know? All this time." "I knew my daughter," she replied proudly. That was enough. Through the windows I could see the line forming at my food truck. People drawn by the smell of innovation disguised as simple street food. Tomorrow those same customers might dine at one of our fine restaurants, never knowing that their perfect experience was crafted by algorithms born in a humble food truck. But I knew. And now, finally, so did my family.